Hello from Kampala in Uganda. My name is Becky, and I'm going to share a few thoughts that I've had from the Bible with you this morning. Thanks so much for being here. If you've been following along for the last few videos, you'll know that my daily Bible reading plan has taken me into the book of Judges. It's a book full of amazing and horrifically gory stories, let's be honest. As I've been reading through, though, I realised that there's a bit of a pattern in it regarding how the Israelites were living. See, while they were under the leadership of one of the judges, they would be doing okay, getting along fine. But once that leader vanished, then things would get worse and worse. The Israelites would turn away from God again and again, and they would end up subject to different people groups, often treated quite brutally and oppressed until the point that they got so desperate that they called out to God. Over and over again, we read the same pattern. The Israelites in the hands of their enemy for X amount of years, then they cry out to God, and then God delivers them. But as I was reading through this time, I kind of started to realize that those numbers, those time periods between when the oppression started and when the people cried out to God, that they started to get longer and longer and longer. At the start of Judges, the Israelites are in trouble for 8 years until Othniel, the first judge that we hear about, comes along. Then it's 18 years before Ehud, and then 20 years before Deborah. There's a 7-year break before Gideon, and then another 18 years before Jephthah. And then finally, in Judges chapter 13 and verse 1, this is what we read. Again, the Israelites did evil in the Lord's sight. So the Lord handed them over to the Philistines, who oppressed them for 40 years. That's 40, not 14, 40 years. For 40 years, the Israelites suffered oppression under the hands of the Philistines. That's a long time. As you look back through this book of the Bible, through Judges, it's pretty clear that every time the Israelites cried out to God, that he sent someone to help them. Well, that suggests to me that they had gone for 40 years without once coming to God and saying, hey, we're sorry. We know we messed up, but, could you please just come and help us out here again? Why did they wait so long, I wonder? Did they think they could get out of it themselves? Were they so distracted by what was going on, by their circumstances, that coming to God became a low priority? Did the problems of the day distract them from remembering how many times God had come through for them in the past? We'll never really know, but what we can know is how often we do the same. How often do we wait until things are absolutely awful before we cry out to God? Do we come to him when there's the first hint of an issue? Or do we stay silent in a situation because we don't really expect him to answer? How many days or weeks or months or years do we spend suffering under the weight of our circumstances because we haven't cried out to God? And that's not to say that God will immediately deliver us from every single difficult situation if we come crying to him. Some things we need to stay in to help us to develop our perseverance and our strength. But as soon as we come to him, as soon as we get down on our knees and say, I just can't do this on my own, God, I need your help, then he starts working on our behalf. See, Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 24, it tells us, before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I will hear. And in John chapter 5, verse 17, Jesus explained that my Father is always at his work to this very day, and I too am working. How encouraging those verses are. Even when we're only just thinking about calling out to God, he's already ready with an answer. Even while we're still pouring our hearts out to him, he's already listening and ready to move. Even when it seems like he is silent and distant, he is still at work. Why wait to cry out to him? He cares about whatever situation you are facing right now. So cry out to him about it. He may deliver you from it right away. You know, he has the power to do that. But even if he doesn't, crying out to him unlocks those wonderful gifts of joy and peace in our everyday situations. Even now in a time of lockdown and trial and stress, even now we can cry out to him. We should be crying out to him. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we can instantly go running to our friends and family to have big hugs and kisses. But it will help to strengthen us in this difficult time. I encourage you today, don't wait. Don't be like the Israelites and only cry out after 40 years of torment. He is right there, right now, willing to work on your behalf, willing to help you in your hardest moments. Don't wait. Cry out to God right now. He will answer you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.